Welcome to another episode of the Shay Risque podcast. Today we're going to spend some time talking about an article that I wrote back in September 2013 called Happy Living in Fear of a Man. But before I get into that, I'm going to go ahead and let you know that I had every intention of my woman Carissa being on the show today, but for the past, I'd say, week, she's been pretty sick. She is getting a better, but she has no voice right right now, and it's probably going to be another week or two before I am able to get her on. She is very self-conscious about her voice. She don't want it to be, cracking up and sounding hoarse, even though to me that sounds very, very sexy. And also in the next week or two, we're actually going to have a couple of sponsors. Now these sponsors are not going to be paying hardly anything, but it is something that's going to go towards keeping the show absolutely free. Like I said before, I am paying for the cost of this completely out of my pocket, and it is not cheap. But I do it because I want to, and I feel that it will actually help people. Um, all the feedback from my blog has been tremendous. I've been getting messages left and right, and so therefore I'm just going to just keep on going until I am, tired of it or I'm just dead. Um, I have posted the recipe for Chris's cheesy grits, like I said that I would. So if you want to go to shayrisque.com, it is right there. And trust me, you will want to try this. It is absolutely amazing. Um, Also, we on shayrisque.com, we do have an Amazon store. It is not products that we sell personally, but we have been working with Amazon, and what they do is that they will list products for us that are pretty much going to be related to our show. And if you happen to shop from that store, you will not have to pay anything extra. What they do is that they just give us a little, kick a little a kickback in order to help pay for the cost of the show. So if you can go to the blog shayrisque.com and click on the store link, there is a store right there. Like I said before, we're going to spend this episode talking about an article that I wrote back on September 3rd, 2013. If you want to read it, all that you have to do is go to the blog and click on the September link in the blog archive, and then just scroll down till you find Tuesday, September 3rd. It is called Happy Living in Fear of a Man. Now, before I go into this, I want to preface this by saying that I am not talking about fear when it comes to battered women. I'm not saying that women want to live in fear of a husband who abuses them, yells at them, beats them. I'm talking about the erotic fear of a man being in control. I'm talking about the feeling that a woman has when she knows that her husband or her boyfriend or her master is the one that is that has the authority over her. Um, so if you think that this is going to be about spousal abuse or abuse in general, you are absolutely mi- mistaken. Um, so here we go. In the article I actually wrote, I asked the questions. Um, why would a woman want to be afraid of her man? And I'm speaking to this on the premise of a man and a woman being in a male-led relationship. I'm talking about the traditional male relationship, whether it is in a BDSM master slave or just an ordinary male-led relationship. And what I have come up with after talking to many people is that women find it to be er- erotic. They find it to be suspenseful, erotically. Um, it 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 makes her aware that her man has authority over her. Um, there are many different types of fear, and most people enjoy fear. And what I mean by that is that, let's say that you are a non-horror movie buff. Okay, you do not like horror films, but you watch them because they give you that fear. They give you that adrenaline rush. Um, let's say that you are a public speaker, and you enjoy that fear of just before going on, that you have those butterflies in your stomach. You may enjoy that because it keeps you focused on what you are doing. Um, and that is the kind of fear that I am talking about. It is the fear that, for lack of a better term, it just turns you on. Um, in the article, I included a excerpt from a book that I have read a long time ago, and it was written even longer a ago. It was written by Otto Wettinger, who wrote it in 1903, and the book is called Sex and a Character. And I included the excerpt because it pretty much summed up exactly what the entire book is is about. A woman wants to be afraid of her man, ironically, because in essence she's a phallus worshiper. And what that means is that if you take a man and a woman, um, and let's say that they are making love or having sex or just plain fucking, it is up to the man to penetrate the woman. It is up to him to basically just invade her space. Um, and what she does is that she welcomes him inside of her. Um, most submissive women love the missionary style of a sex, because when the man is on top of her, he is in a dominant position over her. He is in absolute control, and he is thrusting himself inside of her. Um, and that plays into that fear of relinquishing control. In that moment of their act of sex, She is giving up absolute control. And it is the same way with, other other styles. Dog Doggy style. She is completely at his mercy. Um, he is nowhere in her sight. He is directly behind her, so he can do whatever he wants to do. It is that act of not of not knowing. Um, and it is fear. But in order to have that kind of erotic fear, the woman must have trust of her man. She must be able to trust that he will not hurt her, that he will not abuse her, that he will not hit her or make her feel like she's a doormat. Um, it is very soothing for a quote alpha female, one who in her daily life, where she is at work, where she is at home with her family, that she has got to be the dominant one. When she's at work, she may have people who are subordinate to her, and whenever she gets home, she is the matron of the household. She is in control of the kids. She is in control of making sure that the house is running smoothly, that things are clean, that the meals are made, etc., etc. So it is a welcome fear for when her man comes home and says, "Get on your knees." She is welcoming that that control is being taken from her. To her, all that she has to do is just give herself over to her. And he may just want to spank her or fuck her vigorously, but it is that erotic, titillating fear of serving her husband, her boyfriend, her master, her dom, whatever you want to label it. But it is, you know, sexy. Um, she wants to be aware of her man. She wants to be aware of his masculinity. She wants to be aware of his phallus. Um, she wants to be aware of his authority, his power, his control over her. That will remind her that she is special to him. That she is his best that that she is his best friend. That there is nothing platonic going 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 on. She is the man in charge who she loves and reveres. And just the mere touch of him, just the mere breath of him sends quivers through her entire body. That is what the fear does to her. That is that erotic fear that I am talking about. I'll give you a very good example. Carissa and I have been together for a very long time, and she knows that I am the man in charge. And whenever I get into master mode, as you want to say it, which is about 70% of the time, because there are times where I just want to relax and I just want to be goofy and I just want to be a silly, or I just want time to myself. Um, where she's not afraid, she is in fear of master, and to her that is very erotic. She stays wet all the time. She has to wear a pad because she stays wet, because she is always in that fear. She is ready for sex 24/7 because she is aware that Master is the man. Master is the alpha. He is the dominant. He is the master. Now, does that mean that I abuse her? Absolutely not. It just means that I can give her this look, and she will fall into a line. And she wants to fall into a line. She needs to fall into a line. Um, I'm not saying that all women are submissive. I'm saying that the vast majority of them are. Um, Women just want a man to protect them, to cherish them, to love them, to take care of them, and in return, they want to take care uh, of their man. But there's a danger of not having that romantic, titillating fear, where the relationship can get stale and boring and cold, where you just grow apart and you grow tired of each other because you're going through the daily routine every single day. You wake up, you eat, you get the kids off to school, you go to work, you come home, you eat, and you go to bed. And then that will translate over into your sex life where, the sex is boring. You're not having any fun. You know, it's become a marriage of, boring sex fake and fake orgasms. You have to keep the romance. You have to keep the undertone of the relationship very erotic, where you just come up be behind your woman and you smack her on the ass hard. You do it hard enough to where she knows that you are there, and just do it hard enough to where the damn thing stings, because she will remember that. She will remember that her man just made her ass sting, and I guarantee you she will get wet. She will fall into line. She will have that fear of your masculinity, of your authority over her. Um, and she will be grateful for it because she will respond in the bedroom. She will be passionate. She'll be wild. She will be aggressive, and I guarantee you that when she comes, you will know it, because it'll be completely different than those ordinary fake or orgasms than she has been given you. Um, so don't be afraid, if you are a man, to take charge. Do not be afraid to say, wife, or whatever her name is, we are going to do this. You are going to do this. But do it in a very masculine, playful, um, but dominant way. Give her a chance to follow your lead. Do not force her. That is going to lead down a path of emotional and physical abuse. Do it in a very loving, romantic, but firm way. Let her have the opportunity to follow you. Develop that fear of, what is he going to do next? Is he going to spank me? Is he gonna fuck me? Is he gonna put me on my knees and make me suck his dick? Because she wants to please you. She needs to please you. I'll give you another good example. Yet yesterday I came home from work. I was tired. I was beat. It had been a long morning, and and Carissa literally met me at the door, butt naked, and she was on her knees. And there is nothing more exciting for a man to look down on his woman who is on her knees before you naked. It gives you that feeling of power. It gives you that feeling of, you know, I am the fucking man. And I can look at her and see the irreverence. I can see the fear that 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 she has whenever she sees me with that power. She's like, "Oh wow," and she gets turned on. And right then and there, she pulled my cock out and she sucked my dick like she hasn't in a very long time. And we proceeded to have the most hot, steamy fuck fest we have had in a week. And it was all because of that act that she gave me of getting on her knees, and she saw how filled with power, how filled with manliness I was, and that gave her fear. It gave her awe of that sight, and it just translated into our sex life. It was amazing. Um, I urge everybody to, you know, think about it, do it safely, do it sanely. Um, do not worry about um, do not worry about trying to do it now. Let it progress naturally. Try one thing, try something else, but make sure that you're both aware of of what is going on. Do not do not make it to where she is afraid of you. That is that is that is wrong, and that is borderline ab- abuse. Make it to where she has this loving, romantic, erotic fear of your power, of your masculinity, of your authority, not to where she's afraid of you. Now I want to talk about the movie A Secretary. Last week I brought it up in relation to Carissa watching it, and that started her down her path of her learning about her submissiveness, ultimately cultivating to her accepting it. Um, I want to talk about this movie because I get a lot of questions about it, and the first thing that I want to do is talk about how some people believe that the movie is about sadomasochism. I can not disagree more. I believe that the movie is basically a dark love story that has bondage and discipline involved, not not S&M. I believe that the theme of the movie is that a dominant and a submissive find 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 each other. Um, it's about this girl who is very unsure, very clumsy, very insecure, named Miss Holloway. And it's about her growth into a very confident woman. And this growth takes place when she discovers her true submissive nature. And when she finally accepts it and wants it 24/7, she tries to prove herself to him. And she does so, and I believe a very dramatic fashion. Um, it's different than most movies that involves bondage or BDSM of any kind. It's not porny. There's no gratuitous use of sex or nudity. In fact, you don't see any nudity at all until the very end. And even the one sex scene is very tame, even though she's tied to a tree, which is very sexy in it in in itself. The only problem I have with the movie is that it portrays um, Mr. Gray, who is the dominant, who, in a side note, I think that E.L. James stole the character for in her uh, 50 Shades books, which were awful books, by the way. She could be brought up on, plagiarism easily, but it's about this attorney named Mr. Gray who is trying to find a secretary. And he goes through secretary after a secretary until um, Miss Holloway comes along. And he's a very critical, overbearing person who hates mistakes. And she is a person who just wants to please and wants to better herself so that she can please more. And it's kind of like a match made in a heaven. And the reason why I say it's not about sadomasochism, it isn't the fact that she enjoys pain. She enjoys being disciplined. As you can see in the first time that he spanked her for a typo. She was shocked by what he was doing to her, but she responded by not having any more typos for a short period of time because he would discipline her. Um, and when he stopped, she even tried to force him to discipline her. It's about the control that he had over her. Um, so I believe that just like Carissa, women will respond to this movie because if you take out the fact that the director portrays them as damaged people before came to they came together, not all people in the lifestyle, whether it's dominant, submissive, master slave, BSM, whatever, if you it portrays as all people like that as being damaged. If you take that part out, it is a very good love story, and I believe that women will respond to the submissive nature of Miss Holloway, um, and that they might see something of her in them and themselves, and that the men will see something of Mr. Gray and them. Um, it's about people who fall in love and just accept their true natures, and they decide to live together within their true natures. Um, it kind of fits into what I was talking about be before where she develops that fear of him, that erotic, passionate fear. Um, so I urge you guys to go out if you haven't seen it yet. I think it was released in 2002, 2003. Go in and find it. I'm sure that it's on Netflix or in I'm sure that you can find it pretty easily because it's a pretty controversial movie. I urge you to watch it if you haven't seen it. Don't worry about the whole damaged, you know, fucked upness of their character before they meet. Just focus on the actual blossoming of the relationship, and you'll see something very very beautiful.